Hey folks, Duker Does here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I got another game pickup video for you. But this time it's going to be a little bit different. I'm just not going to show the games I found, but I'm going to show some of the other things I found as well. I don't always find games when I go out, so I keep my feelers out for other things that may interest me. And I didn't quite know if you guys would really be into this, but a couple of the items I found on my last couple of trips, I think are worth sharing because I think they're really cool. So they will be included in this video. So I hope you like it, and if you do, give me a like and subscribe. There will be more if you like this. So let me know if you like it down in the comments. So let's get right into this. My first foray out into game hunting for this month. I went to a flea market that's held at our local fairgrounds every weekend. And it's only held for one day, Saturday only. So you gotta get out there if you're wanting to find something. Because like I said, it's one day. So it'll go by really quick. So I go out there and I really didn't have any high hopes to find games because usually at this flea market, they're very scarce. You don't see them very often at this flea market. So I wasn't for sure if I'd see anything. Sorry about that. Got a little allergies are messing with my nose. So as I'm walking down the first row, I'm not really seeing anything, so I'm thinking, well, this is just going to be a wash. It's going to be like this to the whole thing. So as I near the end of that first row, I see a table with mainly Hot Wheels laid out on it. That's all this guy really has. And I'm thinking, well, that's not my cup of tea, really. I mean, I do have a few, but they're mainly older. I don't buy the newer ones. But in the back of his booth, he had a couple of games sitting there. Most of them were for the Game Boy Advance, maybe about 10 or 12 of them. And he was asking $2 a piece for them. And a lot of the ones he had were mainly movie related, and none of them really jumped out at me, except this very last one that was it was the only one that was non-movie related, and that is Frogger's Journey. Let me see if I can get it up here. Frogger's Journey for the Game Boy Advance. I played Frogger on, I believe it was the Atari 2600. That was one of the first games that I was introduced to in video gaming. And so when I seen this, I thought, I'll get that just to see if it's anything like the original version, And also, I've been trying to pick up more Game Boy Advance games, especially ones that are in the cardboard boxes, because the boxes are really hard to find, super hard to find. So if you do find a game that is with the original cardboard box, snag it up, because they really are really hard to find. They are gaining in value, but it's mainly the fact that the cardboard boxes are really hard to come by. So those are definitely a good pickup. I don't have a Game Boy Advance right now. I do plan on getting one, so this will be really cool when I do get one. I can't wait to play this one. So that was a good find. Now, I was getting ready to leave this flea market. As we were rounding around the very last row to leave, there's this one booth that has mainly antique hand tools. And that is my jam. I did look at them. But what interested me the most was a couple magazines the guy had laid out on the table. And when I seen Bruce Lee on the cover of one of them, I was really intrigued. And when I got over there and seen what it was, I had to snag it up. This is a Fighting Stars magazine from 1975. Now, Fighting Stars is no longer around, unfortunately. And it was one of the very first peripherals on the martial arts that I actually picked up and read. This one here is from 1975. I don't know if I mentioned that. Didn't care what the guy had paid, wanted for it. I was going to pay it. He said $3. I said sold. Now, what's cool about this is just 2 short years after Bruce Lee's death in 1973. And in 75, they was already working on a biopic about Bruce Lee's life. And they was trying to find a look-alike. That's why this guy on the cover kind of looks like Bruce Lee. They was looking for a look-alike to portray Bruce Lee in this biopic. Now, I haven't read the full article to know if this movie ever came out or actually took off. But that's not the only thing that was cool about this. On the back is an advertisement for a song by Robert Lee. Now, for those of you who don't know, Robert Lee is Bruce Lee's brother. And the name of the song is The Ballad of Bruce Lee. And there was one other song, I don't remember what the name of it is, but it is related to Bruce Lee as well. I haven't been able to find the song yet, but when I do, I'll let you know what it sounds like. Because I am intrigued myself. In fact, there's an article in this magazine about Robert Lee and the song. So definitely can't wait to dive into this and give it a good read and then put it in my collection of other martial arts magazine. This is a pretty good condition for a 40-plus-year-old magazine. So I'm very glad to have this in my collection. Now, the next place that I went to was right after the flea market. We go to this little antique store. And normally when I go into this place, I'm not really looking for games because a lot of the games that I usually do find there are usually either scratched up or marked really high. And so I don't really keep an eye out when I'm there. Usually I'm looking for other things. But in this trip, I did see something I had to have. And I only paid $1 for it, which is even a better deal. You know what I'm saying? It's Defender for the PS2. Now, as you can tell from the smile on my face, this makes me very happy. And I'll tell you why. Way back in the early 80s, whenever gaming was just coming into, just starting to gain popularity, one of the first games I ever played was on the Atari 2600. And it was Defender. Well, one of them was Defender. And there was Pong, Defender, and Frogger. I think were the first 3 that I ever played on the Atari. And I did not know that they had ported Defender to the PlayStation 2. So when I seen that, it had to come home with me. And definitely cannot wait to plug this one in and see if it's how close it is to the original, because I love playing Defender. And other than that, there's 2 games that just really bring me back to the 80s. And that's Defender and Tempest. Those are my 2 jams right there. Those 2 games, anytime I play them, just transport me back to that time. So I definitely cannot wait to play this version. So I'm loving this one. Now, at this antique store, I always keep my eye out for 2 other things. Knives, or weapons in general, and antique tools, because I'm really starting to get into the whole antique tool restoration thing. Haven't bought any yet, but hopefully I will get brave enough to make that foray very soon. But on this one shelf, I see something marked as a paddle. And it's not quite a paddle. I can tell just by the shape of it. So I picked it up and I was just shocked at what it is. Now to you it may just look like a decorative paddle, but to me this is a Maori patu. It is a weapon used by the indigenous people of New Zealand, the Maori people. And the word patu means to beat. And it's kind of like a club weapon. It's mainly used for crushing. But it does have a blade. If you can tell by holding it flat, you can see it's got a blade. And not only is the flat part used as a weapon, but so is the blade and the butt as well. The butt of the patu is used as a weapon. In fact, every part of the patu has a name. The only one I can remember at this point in time is Reke, R-E-K-E, which is what they call the butt. And that is used as a striking surface as well. The patu is generally reserved for the highest elite fighters, warriors. And the patu is usually used for driving into the ribs. It's usually driven into the ribs. And it's also used as the finishing blow, because the Maori warriors also use a spear called the taiha. I think that's the name of it. Don't quote me. I slipped my hand at the moment, but it's a spear-like weapon, and they don't want to break their spear for a finishing blow, so they reserve the patu for that. Patus are usually made out of stone, jade, wood, and iron. And you'll see them commonly made out of stone, wood, or jade. The jade is called ponamu, and they're highly prized. The iron ones are very rare. I've seen only one example of an iron one, and that was in a museum in Auckland, New Zealand. I looked at it online. That was the only place I could find an example of it. Usually the cord's a lot longer because it's used, the cord is used to wrap around the hand to where the patu will stay attached to the hand. Even if it gets knocked out of your hand, it's not going to go very far because you got that lanyard wrapped around your hand. This style of patu is called the patu tawaka because it's made out of wood. So basically, it's a wooden club. Some of the information I may have may be incorrect on this. If I am wrong, please let me know down in the comments, and I will take your information and put it in the video that I plan on doing on this, because I think it is such a neat and interesting weapon that I want to do a video more on it and on how it's used. So keep a lookout for that video. Now, the last two games I have, I recently got at a Goodwill. That's my favorite place to buy games. And this time I went with my uncle last weekend to a Goodwill on the other side of town. And I don't get to go to this one very much, so I was really looking forward to going there. And I did find a couple that were worth keeping. And the first one is Phineas and Ferb for the Nintendo DS. It's got the booklet and the game all together. I think I paid $5 for it, which I think is a little expensive, but hey, it was worth it in my book. I've got a cousin who's a big fan of Phineas and Ferb, and I'm going to see if he wants it, and I'll gladly give it to him if he does. If not, it's going into my collection. I would definitely be giving it a play. Excuse me, I am so sorry. The last video game I have is Battlefield 3 for the PS3. Don't know a whole lot about this game. I think it's missing the booklet. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, it's got the book and the game, and it was in really good condition. And I paid $5 for it. Like I said, don't know a whole lot about the series. I'm going to give it a play here very soon. And I'll let you know what I think of it after I'm done. This is more my brother's jam than mine. I just picked it up because it was one of the games that was a better condition. And if I don't like it, I can always use it as a trade item to get something that I like. So that's basically all I got today. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have comments for me, leave them down in the comment section. And please come subscribe. Like I always say, the more the merrier. This is Duker Does. Y'all have a great day. Peace. Deuce. Bye-bye.